I was certainly not in a desperate state. I think that would be a level of gloom too far. I think there are some challenges. I mean, it was interesting hearing about Wakefield and how that was funded. European funding will not be available going forward. There may be other forms of funding, but we don't know what that will look like yet. We're certainly finding as an organisation, therefore, that pressure on our funding is growing, and that we are massively oversubscribed, that people want, the demand is not falling. That's the good news. People still have great ideas, but there isn't the funding there to do it. And then you've got things like the Mendoza Review, which some of you may be familiar with, which is very much saying, actually, we shouldn't be funding lots of new stuff. We should be trying to invest in and support the things that we've already got. And so we as an organisation are very much being encouraged to, consulting with the Arts Council to look at, when people come to us, whether this is something, whether there is a genuine gap that needs to be filled. And I think that is challenging when we've had, so many sort of historically great investments that does require, they do require great leaps of imagination. We were hearing about leadership earlier. So we need to make sure we don't put ourselves in a situation where that is no longer possible to do because, we start to constrain our thinking. And so I think we're actually out consulting very shortly, next week. So please give us your thoughts, because we are genuinely interested in questions like, do we give one £10 million grant, or do we give 10 £1 million grants? How do we make the best possible impact? How do we support the sector best right now? And we really, I think, need people to understand that they will need to be, I've never yet been to a project that we funded and thought, why did we fund this? I've always been, this may be very careful selection by some of my team, you might think, about where they take me, but I've always been amazed by the quality of what we've invested in. But we will have to be, as an organisation, and I'm pretty sure we're not alone, really, really rigorous about not just is this a great project, but is this the right place for that project? Is this the right organisation to deliver that project? Has it got the capacity to do it? Has it got its governance sorted out? Is it supported properly by partners? Is it something that is the right thing for us to fund relative to the other things that we've got competing for our funding right now? So what's the community value? What's the people value it delivers? And I think, the competition will mean that people will have to, as I say, the projects that we have funded, I always think are great projects, whether it's a wonderful piece of landscape that's been restored, or a species that's been saved, or a building that's been put back into use. But going forward, I have to say, I think they have to be exceptional. I think you will have to be, in all aspects of what you're trying to do, really exceptional. And the question is, why have we got to do this now? Why has this thing got to happen now rather than in 10 years' time when we may be in a different funding environment? So, yeah.